Yeah, this your man Trey, aka T Smith.
Loved by few, hated by many, respected by all.
Your boy Coach Ben ready to get it in on the world famous
Turftalk, baby.
It's a first down. Gary Bryant. Green, and it's intercepted. Drake Jackson. Let's go. Let's go.
Live my whole life around gangsters. Don't hang around nothing that ain't like us. Twin foes make them put away deuces. My whole hood in the building looking ruthless.
It's actually been one of like the most blessed things I've ever, been through. I was just walking through the halls, man. I had to call my dad. I'm like, man, it's just like crazy to, I don't even know, just to, be standing right here in this spot, in the San Fran stuff, man. It's just I don't know, I can't really explain it. It's a beautiful, blessed feeling, man. 21 years of life, doing everything I did, just for this. So.
What do you say to your dad? What do you say?
Oh man, we always just chop it up normally. It was like a family call, so I was just telling him like him and my closest friends that just got drafted too. I'm just telling him like, man, it's crazy. Each and every minute, every second, it's just like, man, yeah, who would have thought?
Good afternoon. It's the world famous Turf Talk. Only like we could bring it right here. I'm one of the three hosts tonight, man. Your man T Smith, also known as Trey, hanging with my guy, one and only two couple guys I like to hang out with on these nights and talk football. The one and only Mr. Gary Bryant Sr. We also call him Coach G. What's up with you, Coach G?
Man, I'm above ground, so I'm blessed, man. Like I always say, man, I'm doing Megan good. My brother, I'm doing Megan good, man.
That's what I like to hear, man. Like we want to pay the respects. Coach Jackson just texted he running a little behind. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he on the plane or whatnot, nowadays. Well, hey, we want to show him the respect. I don't really do this. I got the Niners in the background. Shout out to the Jackson family. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But Coach G, let's talk to you. I want to check in with you. I know, what I'm saying, we got a young little dog special guest we want to check in with and check his temperature. What's going on with you first of all, Coach G?
Man, I'm putting my good foot forward and letting the other one follow, man. I'm right now, like I said, I'm in the process of building another alpha dog, man. So, I feel like we all wake up and we wake up with different things. And either we can give up, give in, or give it all you got. That's the only options that you have. Mm-hmm. And I feel Kobe Bryant said it best. Don't stop in the middle, stop in the end. And that's my mindset. I always teach that to KB1. And I feel like the finish line is not the problem. I told KB1, when you get in the end zone, be creative. Some people do the stanky leg, some people they might do the Iggy shuffle. I told him praise dance after you score a touchdown, because everybody loves Jesus, But on a serious take, my brother, I'm like a picture frame, man. I'm doing the same old thing, man. Just grinding. That's I live by that mode. Just grind.
Yes, sir. And for the people that may not know, I've had a chance to come out there and watch KB1. I've had a chance to, play Family Feud with the young man. He's very intelligent, but his skill set is and some people might say we biased, but I have a pretty good eye. You got a pretty good eye, and you've already raised some elite athletes around you and been around some. But if we can get KB1 to step on there real quick to give him his due respect. What's up, KB1?
Right.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I appreciate you asking. So the first thing I want to ask you is when I see you out there like competing with all these kids on a higher level, is it something that like you just like competing, or you know what I'm saying? I see you working out with your dad. Is it something that you just enjoy doing? Like, because I see you like at kids at your age, they usually don't put in as much work. Don't get me wrong, because I'm gonna let you answer that because I want to say what I want to say first. A lot of kids work out just to put it on video.
Right.
And then there's other kids that really work out. When I see you, your dad only posts like one every 15 video, like 15 times you work out. So what I'm saying to you is like, is that something like what drives you to keep working out and being, the athlete that you are? Is it your brother? Is it your dad? Or is it just something that, you just want to do?
Thank you for asking that question. I really like competing. Competing, that's what I do. That's what me and my family are supposed to do. When you work out, you get way better, and you're supposed to get way better. But when you're posting that, that's not getting you better. And when you work out like once a day, or like when you work out like once a week or something, that's not getting you better. And in the long run, you're not gonna get better like that.
Okay, so okay, so you ready? Okay, so you ready to get on the podium? Okay, so because I see, like, you know what I'm saying, like your dad he has workouts, and then you know, like you're always working out with your brother, Big Gary Bryant down at USC. Um, Big Little Gary Bryant down at USC. But like I see you on these hills in the cities and all over in the stairs and things like that. Is I'm saying, like, I know you want to be competitive, but is that something like you just know, like, I'm just gonna trust the process and keep working out and see where I land?
Oh, good question. That's just I have to work out
Uh,
because I enjoy working out. I love working out. That's something I have to do in my life. Like I love working out. Like every once like or 2 days or every day I'm working out. Every day I'm working out. I love working out.
uh-huh. And do you notice a lot of kids your age don't like working out, or they do like working out if they working out with you?
Oh yeah, like some kids, I call them on the phone. I tell them, "Do you want to work out?" They be like, "No, I don't want to. I don't feel like going working out." And I'll be like, "You got to put that work in," but they say no.
Yeah, that's what I do notice about you is like, cause you always working out, and I've even told my little son, like, hey man, you better get on that KB, man. You better start working out. Hey, no, I'm being serious. My older son, he liked to work out. You know, he one of them like looking at his body in the mirror type stuff. But that's something like your dad has been blessed with and fortunate to see. You know, like a kid like you that enjoys working out because he don't gotta beg you or pull you out the bed. You know what I'm saying? And I know, you know, I've talking to your family and stuff as far as you putting that same effort into school. You got a very, very bright future and a high ceiling, and we're gonna be rooting for you for a very long time, my man.
Right, right. And I actually wrote down a few things for him. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And if people don't know, I'm gonna let them know who exactly KB1 is. This young phenom receiver slash cornerback has more routes than a 405 freeway and more wiggle than a tab post tail. He is known for getting defensive back to get more whistles than the Spice Man, and he is only as tall as the giraffe femur bone. Playing football since the age of 4, he's made it to the Super Bowl year after year, and he's on Tom Brady's head like a skull cap, chasing them rings. I told him, son, keep one eye on the prize like Philly Wop, and if your shadow don't keep up, hey, leave it too. And I have a question for you, my son, and I'm so proud of him. Because in my household, in my household, it's grades before before you touch the field. Am I right, KB? And this young man, he made me so proud. He came home with all A's, and he's at a school that's very uh high on points. They're
Yeah.
9 points. So that really made me proud of you. It really made me proud of you. You came home, and one thing I do want to ask you: how do you feel being in your brother's shadow?
Truthfully, I'm not in my brother's shadow. I'm taking my own path.
That's right.
Taking my own path.
I like that.
I like that,
I like
KB. Okay.
Right. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about, man.
GB Jr. gonna have something to worry about because I've seen you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know who you was until one day on the high school sideline. I seen, you know, that video where they throw the ball up to themselves and they catch it.
Right,
I
right.
seen this little man. I'm sitting in the. I don't even know why I'm looking at a little kid. I see somebody throw the ball up. I said, no way in hell he gonna catch that. This little fool then caught it and ran around and ran back, juking everybody. It's in the middle of a serious game, juking everybody on the sideline. I was like, who the hell is this kid? And that was my first, time seeing KB1, man. So everybody got their story of the first time they see you. And it's gonna be plenty more. Like I said, I've already became a fan of you. It's definitely something to watch. We calling it now 2022. Do you got TikTok? What's your Instagram, TikTok, man?
Oh, my IG is baller KB1.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
What about that?
Okay.
What about that TikTok?
Nah, I don't got
I,
TikTok.
I told your daddy to get you on
Yeah,
that
you did.
TikTok.
You sure
I
did.
told you. We're
You
gonna
did.
work on that, man. We're gonna
Right.
work on that. You ain't posting nothing on it's IG no more. TikTok is where it's at, man. I seen a
That's right.
dude get a code check, and that's gonna be you. We're gonna make sure you get it.
Right.
So yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you for hanging out with us, man, and just watching your level of success that you at, and what you put into the sport, and the tradition and the respect. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And football is something people got to put the respect in. But shout out to all the young soldiers out there that's working hard. Hit us up, leave us the comments where we can follow you on the YouTube page, follow us on Instagram, and let's support this younger group, and these young phenoms. All right, shout out to you, KB1. Hey, next time I see you, I want to see that TikTok cracking, man. So let me know.
Right. And I want to say this to all the parents out there, man. A good athlete with no grades are like leaf press on nails, temporary, and they will eventually fall off.
Mm-hmm.
I think and that's why I love KB1 so much, because he hits on all cylinders and he goes 100 to the paint. And I'm not being biased just because he's my son, but he does go hard. And it's a lot of good athletes out there, and they have to understand that grades come first. Grade,
Definitely.
right? I ain't accepting nothing less. And these scouts will not even look at you. So parents, keep that in mind. I want to say thank you. Hey, love you to death. So you know what I'm saying? You keep grinding. You hear me? All right.
All right, KB. Hey, go get that TikTok cracking tonight, man. Go get it up. Yes, sir. Wait, what'd he say?
He said, thank you for having me.
Oh man, come on, it's a pleasure, man. It's nothing. We're gonna have you around more often.
Right. All right. See you later.
Hey, it's the one and only Turf Talk right here, man. Checking in with the youngsters is what we do. Coach Jackson just said, he's in the meeting right now. He'll get out pretty soon. We got a special guest tonight. We do, we don't, we don't. Hey, this is how entertainment roll. GB, let's chop it up with you a little more. What's up? What's up with Gary Bryant Jr.?
Man, right now it's grind time, man. And I was with him earlier today. We actually had dinner together, and man, it's so much things going on, man. People are saying that right now that it's a pay to play game. People are saying this is legalized. Illegal legalized gambling with the kids, and I know you heard about the breaking news. I think I
Yeah,
sent it to you.
yeah, you did.
I don't know if the people out there know what's going on, but basically, I forgot. Do you remember what the code was that they put? It's a code out there saying basically that the boys will get 50% of what the college makes, certain sports. So the thing is changing, man. These boys are basically they will not be considered students anymore. They will be considered employees. So that's changing the game. You know?
Yeah, the whole NIL situation is
Right.
it's new. So if it's new, there, you know what I'm saying, there's rules that have been figured out and rules that haven't been figured out. They're still, I honestly believe they're still trying to figure it out.
Right.
Because they're saying college kids can't get paid, but now these college kids have taken to a new level as far as some kids getting millions, some kids getting sponsorship for millions,
Right.
some kids getting hundreds of thousands. So there has to be it's just laws that have to be in place as far as taxes,
Right.
and employment and things like that. And I think that's what we're seeing with the California state legislator. So there's a lot of new things getting implemented. I mean, I think it's more to come. I think it's going to eventually get shut down, or
Right. I
or
agree.
like confined, if I say the correct word. I think it's going to definitely get confined, and all this NIL, take advantage of it this year and next year. But I think it's going to slowly start disappearing to where it's like, it's just not going to be what everybody thought it was going to be.
Right.
Like what they say, NIL stands for now it's legal. NIL stands for no more summer jobs. I
Right.
mean, there's so many different names from it, and it's getting catchy, and there's so many sponsors and so many colleges hiding behind sponsors, which is none of our business. Like if
Right.
if you open the book, the game. I mean, until somebody breaks the rules or there's a rule book. I mean, there is what it is. So
Right.
shout out to everybody that's using it to the best of the ability to take advantage of it to the best of their ability. So
Right. Right.
hey, it is what it is. But I think it's a touchy subject, especially with your son being in college. I don't want to get into it too much, because I think Gary Bryant Jr. is going to have a hell of a year this year.
I agree.
So you know what I'm saying. So just let him do what he does, in all assets, because Hey, as we've seen with the NFL draft, which I believe Gary Bryant Jr. is going to the NFL draft at a very high level. They use all this information, so we want to leave him in the clear. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, and I just got it right now. The Senate bill is called 1401. College Athletes Race and Gender Equality Act. So basically, they want the athletes to get paid. Break, and also Zeke just hit me up and said he'll be on at 9.
okay.
So just contact me right now. But the thing that I'm worried about this, I have nothing against guys getting paid or young ladies getting paid for work. But now if I'm an employee, now you can fire me whenever, or will you take away my education? This bill opens up a lot of different scenarios, because I know if you work for me, I'm gonna treat you like an employee. I can fire you whenever I want to. So it's gonna change up the game now, because now they're taking the student out of it and they're using employee. That's the scary thing right now, man. We're some crazy times.
Yeah, like it's so new, man. I can't even really speak on it because of the fact that it's just everything is so new. They're always throwing in that what they call moving the goalpost. That like it means this now, it means this now. There's so many kids that think they're gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's just average kids. There's 5-star kids or 4-star kids now, doing their best to stay 4 or 5 stars to try to get $1 million deal. And there's kids going to colleges in which they're turning down the college of their dreams just to go get the check.
Right, right. So at some
It's
point,
crazy.
right, yeah. At some point, I think you got to ask the question, because of course everybody wants the money. You can, people come at you and say,
So I have just a bunch of questions that pretty much I think our listeners have.
hey,
So
Zeke, let me say this, Zeke. Before you do that, let me let the guests know who we have right here, because this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? I wrote down a few things, and I gotta let it out. This brother I'm about to introduce is a class act, calm, cool, and collective, modest. This man has more drip than an Easy Jerry curl, and you would never know. Some things are better showed than told. An NFL agent and chief executive CEO of his own company, Elite Athlete Management. And like a Christmas tree, this brother is highly decorated. Resume go longer than Shaquille O'Neal shoelaces. Church, over 21 years to be exact. And it's noted, when he comes into a room, he makes a lot of noise. And I assure you, he don't wear tap dance shoes, And to all the listeners out there, there's mustard and then there's Grey Poupon. Let me put it to you like this. Christian Kirk, Jacksonville Jaguars, 4-year deal worth over $84 million. Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers, 4-year deals, $48 million. Danielle Hunter, Minnesota Vikings, $18 million deal. Odell Beckham, largest shoe deal in the NFL history. And that's not even with his money. And last but not least, USC's very own GB1 has signed with this alpha agent for his NFL representation. If stripes were equivalent to dots, I would call this brother a walking wingworm. To everybody out there, I give you Zeke. Hey, brother, I'm so happy to have you on here, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
The real deal.
Zeke, I'm gonna go ahead, Zeke, and say you probably wouldn't have gave yourself that intro. Hey, I done been around brothers like you. Look too cool to get that kind of intro. But we know you got it in you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You just don't.
And I appreciate the love, fellas.
Definitely a pleasure, man. We're talking to Zeke. He's an NFL agent. It's a lot of one of the premier NFL agents. I'm a fan of NFL agents. It's something I highly respect. I respect the grind behind the scene. A lot of people just think it's about, just coming out on draft day and coming out on in 4 years when, it's free agency and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the doors, and you guys are well educated, versed in all areas, and you guys are an extraordinary businessman. So if you don't mind, I want to hear, did you always know you was going to be an agent? And when did you know you were going to that area, if you were or were not?
It's interesting. I think a lot of this happened by luck. I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, I was raised by my grandmother. I never knew my dad, and my mom passed away when I was 6 years old. So my grandmother raised me out there, and football became a passion for me just being around a lot of my uncles. So I went in 93, I went to Eastern Arizona Junior College, went out here and played, went to Western New Mexico. And in 98, when I was all done, I came back to Arizona. I made Arizona home. Don't ask me why. I didn't know a single person out here, man, but I made it home. And one of my best friends calls me and says, hey, me and my dad were talking, we want you to represent me in the CFL draft. And I'm like, man, that sounds good, man. Okay. So, my grandmother always emphasized education. So education came pretty easy. And so I went ahead and did represented him in the CFL draft. And then it wasn't too much negotiating happening.
Right.
They said 20, I think it was 26,000. And I said, hey, how about 36? They said, how about 26? I said, how about 32? They said, how about 26? So 26 it was. And, from there, it just started, man. I was blessed. One of my best friends gave me that opportunity back in 98, 99. And from there, it's been a blessing, man. As Biggie says, it was all a dream. Okay. So it's been a blessing, man. Mr. Jackson.
Hey, what's up, sir?
How are you?
Hey, I'm going to just tell you, I appreciate people like you, man, for sure.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now.
Oh, wait. What's the locker room back there?
Hey, I did that for you, dog. You better showed up. Hey, but
I don't know if I'm still used to that yet, man.
hey, I did that for you, brother. So you know what I'm saying? Salute to you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get around to you, Jackson. So don't you go nowhere. We're gonna get around to you. But
I'm here.
Yes, sir. Definitely, Zeke. Like I said, I appreciate you just sharing that, because I always want to know, like, some people, like they know from day one that they want to be a specific, specific kind of, career or whatnot. Yeah. If you to, just to go through that, I definitely appreciate that. You want to tap in, GB?
Yeah, Zeke, I have a few notes I wrote down. I feel like our world has evolved into a place where common sense is no longer common, and people may have earthly receipts, but no heavenly account. And what I mean by that is the mass majority of people are like PS4s. They want the cheat code, but they kind of put blood, sweat, and tears on the back burners. And I always feel like I know times are changing. And if people don't know this, Zeke has his own youth chapter out there in Arizona. And the question I have for you, sir, is what is the difference that you're seeing in the parents now than what you've seen before when it comes to football?
Man, I would say the crazy part is sometimes parents are trying to pull the cart before the horse, right? And it's making them understand that as we're developing the youth, man, we also got to first and foremost develop them in between the ears, right? What we're doing is we're raising future champions, but how do we raise them and make them understand everything we do in life? Football is a great sport. I mean, I would say the best sport ever created, but it doesn't matter what sport your child is in or whatever activity. How do we create a mindset of excellence in everything that they're doing, right? And everything that they're doing. So sometimes these parents, they're thinking about youth sports, about wins and losses, and they're thinking about the end goal. And I was saying, like when we tell the kids, you want to have a dream, but a dream without goals is one thing. Goals without a plan is another thing. And if you don't have a plan to execute, none of that matters. It's all a dream, right? So when we talk with these parents, it's making them understand, how do we create a blueprint for them to achieve success? But success is in everyday life. Wins, losses, practice. What are we creating? The habits that we're creating and helping them achieve right now is going to set them up for the rest of their life, not just in sports, but in life. Competition, we all see it in youth sports. Everybody, sometimes they want to play daddy ball, or sometimes they just want it given to their kids.
Right.
We all know in life, nothing's going to be given to us, even in the real world. So we got to start creating that. And I would say that's one of the things I find it with a lot of the parents nowadays in the youth sports world, man. It's almost utter chaos, man. Everybody's doing it for the wrong reasons or the wrong mindset. And we're forgetting to really build these kids up. Man, and I always say, and to me, the biggest thing is in between the ears. We build that. I tell my kids all the time, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Right? So
I love that. And I think we're all intrigued. But is there a certain, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, is there a certain formula when it comes to recruiting these NFL athletes? or is it like the roll of a dice and you just basically, hey, he looks good, he looked good on film, and we're just gonna take our chance on him? Or is it, and also the last question I have for you is it like ancestry.com where y'all go way back? Now I know that college plays a big factor, but do you guys look at high school and youth? Do you go that far back, or does it?
No, definitely don't go that far back. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're recruiting, I think when agents first get into the game, man, they're probably trying to recruit anybody and everybody, right? Because they're trying to like really earn their stripes and start to get that first player. But for me, I would say, number one, you just have to believe in the player. Hey, number one, when you watch a player, do you believe in the player? Right? You're gonna get your obviously your information. Hey, who are some of the top guys who are coming out? Then you take it a step further. Not only is he a great player, but is he a great person? Right? What kind of kid is he? What is his DNA, his makeup? What kind of family background does he have? What is his why? What is his it factor? So as we're going into this, man, a lot of that goes into it because as the old saying is, all money's not good money, right? We want to have a relationship, the relationship aspects. Now, some people, to each their own, right? Some people like transactional stuff, which is cool. Some people want to be a number. I would say for us, it's a family, man. How do we continue to build? Because we want to be an extension of your guys' family as we're representing your kids. So we want to say the same things that you guys have been spitting into their heads and helping them build as young men. We want to be that extension to continue to solidify and reaffirm the things and the values, the core values you guys have been producing and giving them, so we can continue to. It's just the beginning, right? In the adult life, football is a small part of their adult life. But we all know, man, your 20s is something, no matter who you are, you're truly trying to establish yourself. Whether you just graduate in college, you're going in the real world, you might get a job and you're like, you know what, like 2 years later, I want to go back to school, get my master's. Or I don't like this job, I'm going to a different job. In the 20s, for a lot of these young men, they got a chance to play the game they love and get paid very well for it. It may be 1 year, it may be 3 years. If they have a great career, they're still in their early 30s when they're done. So helping the parents continue to build that mindset. So for us, man, it's just truly people, what we gravitate towards, guys who want to truly be a part of a family, right? And truly willing to, like, accountability goes both ways. You got to hold us accountable as agents, but we're vice versa. But the only way you can have accountability, man, first you have to have a relationship. With that relationship, you build trust. With trust, you can have accountability. Because if I'm talking to all three of you men and I say, hey, man, you guys need to be doing this, y'all gonna look at me like, man, who Zeke think he is? But if we have a relationship and we build trust, then we know the reason we're talking to each other this way because we're trying to make each other better.
Gotcha. Coach Jackson, you want to tap in? I know you got a lot of information on your brain as of late.
I wanted to ask Zeke, man, how hard is it to be real with some parents? Because, for me, I really thought my son was a first rounder. And, sometimes, you just got to be real with parents, you know what I mean? And let them know where their kids are going. You know what I'm saying? How hard is that?
The reality is, man, the thing is, and I've always been a firm believer, you can't gas people up right from the get-go. Because as you go through this process, I would say, even though, your son is first round talent all day, we don't know how the draft is going to fall.
Right, exactly.
You don't know what can happen in the draft. So I'm always a firm believer when you're first initially talking to families, you're saying, hey, if the player is truly a first round talent, he's a first round talent. Now, our job to make sure, you got to tell the parent, our job is to make sure he kills the process. The first step of the process is game film, which he's already taken care of. Now we got to kill the draft process, right? Whether it be the combine, the pro day, the visits, the private workouts. As we go through this, the biggest thing we can all ask each other as a family is when we look at each other draft day, and when he looks in the mirror, he has done everything in his God-given ability to do what he needs to do to be successful. Now we truly have to go back again. When I always say it's faith, right? Faith is believing in the things that you can't see. So we can't one day believe in God and say, hey, God, whatever your plan is, we trust. And then draft day come along and be like, damn, well, God, what happened? Right. We're trusting, we believe in whatever your plan is, man. God, you know better than us. So sometimes I would say, even if you're going to be that pick 20 to 32, I'd rather, we all want to be a first round pick. We all want our guys that we're representing to be first round picks. But from a business standpoint, sometimes being a second round pick, you're going to get to that second contract faster. So you look at all those different avenues, man. So sometimes it is. And honestly, we probably won't get the parents who just want to be gassed, right? We're going to have to keep it real. And at the end of the day, we are going to work together. So as parents and as agents work together, making sure we're maintaining the players, I would say mental during this whole process, because there are a lot of highs and lows. And as parents, all of us being parents, we always want to protect our kids. We want to protect them from that downfalls or disappointments. But as we continue to really have those conversations and really truly being candid and transparent with each other, I think that's the only way you can be. And some parents don't want to hear that. You know that as well as I do, right? Just like some kids don't want to hear that. But I would think there's always somebody for everybody.
Yep.
Hey, you turn to the turf talk. I'm stunned right here. I'm sitting here observing all this. Man, I sit back and I watch the old NFL drafts. I watch, all. I want to ask one question. As an agent, me watching all the NFL drafts and absorbing the game, do you pick and choose what fires you decide to put out, or are you a part of putting fires out? Because you always hear, like, for example, Jerry Jeudy just got into it with his child's mother at the airport. Is that anything that the agent even needs to worry about, or it was just a situation to where it's like, hey, it was a misunderstanding, the police was called and things like that? When do you get involved, and how big of the fire would you get involved in?
For me personally, the way we handle it, I'm going to be all in there, 2 feet in, 10 toes down, because at the end of the day, when we sign and we're working together, we're family. And as a family, we got to make sure we're protecting the family, right? So as a young man, first, we want to know what's going on. Hey, tell us the story. Yeah. How do we help you? How do we protect you? Is there something bigger that we need to know? So you truly have to be fully involved, because it's not just about doing a contract. Again, like I say, to each their own, man, not knocking anybody, but for us, man, it's about the whole life, right? We got to look out for every aspect of it. And remember, they're still young men.
Yep.
All of these guys are still young. And sometimes we all can be put in a predicament that we don't want to be put in, or not knowing how to get out of it, or not knowing what to do. So we got to continue to work hand in hand and really guide them through that whole process. So right from the get-go, man, you got to it's almost like you're the first line of defense.
Yep.
Okay. I like that, Zeke. Coach G.
I think I have 2 questions for you.
First,
I want to know
you've been having 2 questions all night, Coach G.
Huh?
You've been having 2 questions all night, but go ahead.
Is there a crazy time that you can always go back to and remember? And I want to know, can you kind of walk us through what it's like to get drafted?
Man, crazy time. What do you mean when you're referring to that? Crazy time when you go back to?
Like something you can remember, like, okay, the mom went crazy, her wig fell off. Something that, something that you can be like, oh man, this was crazy, a crazy night, good or bad. You don't have to give names.
Man, I tell you, one of the craziest things is when you sit back and you think the NFL has been around for 102 years now, but 101, and you look at all the great players that have played this game and some of the great agents. I mean, God rest his soul, Eugene Parker, one of the trailblazers for all of us minority agents, man, who really set the path for us. And you look at all these great things that people have done. And when you sit back and you realize you negotiated the biggest shoe deal in NFL history, and you're like, man, we did that. You know what I mean? And it's a we, because you look at it, without the player doing what he needed to do and being the person he is, like, there is no opportunity. But now you have to do what you have when they give you that leverage, right? And you look at those things, man, and then you just see, like, you're changing lives. And I just look at it, to me, it doesn't even matter from that regard, or to a guy who just was an undrafted free agent making the team, and the joy and the excitement he has because his life is changing. There's so many wow factors like that. I ain't never experienced a mama's wig falling off, though.
That's what Coach G want to experience. Coach G want to experience that. Coach G, I'm a fan of the second question, though, Coach. So can you walk us through that, like a process from the draft, from the agents? We kind of know from the player standpoint, but from the agent's perspective, is it just as much nerves for you as the player?
Yeah. You know what the thing is, man? You sit there, and again, I mean, I always laugh now, because now guys are saying, man, they call me Unc. I'm like, man, I can't be big bro still. Like, I'm about to be 48 today. keep saying the thing come in, but I'm like, you sit there and you watch these guys as they work their butts off, man. The last, not only their whole lives, but the last 3-4 months of training, and you just go with it, and you see how hard they work, and then they get to that week leading up to the draft and the buildup, right? Because they're getting a lot of calls and stuff, and then the draft comes. You, as a professional, understand that there's a lot of things that may happen. But you almost look at it like when you look at your kids, you want to protect them. You want to protect them from the lows that could possibly happen. So there's a lot of anxiety even built up for you as an agent, because you have an idea of what teams are interested in them. But there's a lot of things that can happen that all of a sudden you get to pick 24 and 24. You know that team really likes your guy, but they may have had a guy drop at a different position that they like too. So then you're like, you feel for the kid and the family. So then the hard part sometimes, man, when the guys are expected to go day one, and now all of a sudden draft is over and you got a house full of people, or if you're at the draft and now everybody's sitting there, and the kids, sometimes I always feel like sometimes players, you almost feel like they let their family down, or that feeling of embarrassment, and then it's just trying to navigate and bring everybody together. And you're like, listen, we truly got to believe God's plan, and it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. You're still going to have an opportunity. So you feel that anxiety, you feel their pain, you feel their excitement, you feel everything, like you go through it. So that draft day for us, it's even the same kind of thing. It's almost like you're getting drafted, even though you're not, right? But your players, that's truly your family. You want to see the highs and lows. It's truly like it's your kid, So I even go, my excitement when I watch my 9-year-old, my 12-year-old play football, and it's game day. I mean, we drive, and if it's 9-year-old's game, he get to pick the songs. If it's a 12-year-old game, he gets to pick the songs. So it's that same excitement, man. So draft day still, man, you're kind of going through it. So first round pick, we all know, boom, it's a matter of that waiting game. That first round comes, boom, you're done. If a guy's in that second day, now you're waiting that overnight. How do we prepare them mentally? Okay, hey, it's okay. Now we're preparing them and their family, everybody, and then you go into day 2. So you go through that aspect. Then you got the day 3. The day 3 is a little different animal altogether, right? Because you got from 4th round all the way to free agent. So some of these kids are getting calls in that 4th round. Hey, man, we got 3-4 picks left. We're looking at you. We don't know what we're gonna do. And sometimes you gotta almost tell them, set them up, and like, hey, sometimes they're doing recruiting calls. They have no intention, but they want to know if you slip through, then you'll be there, hey, you know what, Pops, Mom, they were the first team to call me, so maybe that's where I need to go. So you're preparing that aspect. So when you get later in the draft, now it comes into, I think, it's easier when your player gets drafted. It's harder when now it's time to navigate and pick the right team. Because sometimes it's not all about the most signing bonus or the most P5 guarantee. It's about the best situation. Now it's about taking away the Tom Brady, I get to catch balls from him, to maybe I got to go to a Davis Sills or whatever the kid's name is over there in Houston, but it's the best opportunity to make the 53-man roster. So now you're going through all these different things and everything's moving fast, but you're maintaining and you're trying to make sure that you're helping keep the players' composure, same time keep the family's composure, and make sure all expectations are met.
Yes, sir. Right. Good stuff. I like that. I like all that, Zeke. I'm in here like I feel like I'm in a NFL free agency class right now, and I swear to God, I'm observing all of it right
Free
now.
Agency is a different animal altogether. Now that's
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I feel like I'm just taking notes, man. So I appreciate all of it. Coach Jackson, you want to tap in or?
No, I just wanted to say, man, like Zeke was saying, I concur with him with everything he said, because like you said, I felt like one of the parents that I thought my son was going in the first round. Then after the draft was over, it was like, whoa, wait, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's feeling a different way in the house. And like you said, it was the agent that kind of like told us, hey, look, man, hey, it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? The second day is better. And actually, your contract is a lot shorter now. So it'd be a lot faster to the next contract. So then it was like, consoling my son and, I mean, letting him know you still a first round type of talent. You know what I mean? You just the eggs just felt different. You know what I mean? one guy didn't get drafted and it trickled down to another guy. And, you know, so like I said, you definitely have to be that guy to kind of like help the parents through it and the family through it. So yeah, I definitely concur with him, man, because I mean, but I always knew, man, for me, I always knew, like I said to myself, I'm gonna put it in God's hand, and just wherever he went, that's where God's wanted him to go. And man, it was crazy. Like I said, he was the 49ers first pick, you know what I mean? So he was the first round, he was the first pick, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it was a blessing, man. But you know, like I said, I definitely appreciate, you know, you guys for, you know, just being that kind of lending arm for somebody, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. You know how they say, man, too much is given, much is required. And I think, unfortunately, in our industry, a lot of agents get a bad rap, and just in general, and sometimes rightfully so, right? And as we go through this, man, there's more to it than just the contract. It's really helping guide these guys, and they want that guidance, and they need that guidance. And even for some of the families, and I think our industry is so, I ain't gonna cuss on here, but messed up is the best way to put it, right? Because all these marketing guarantees and marketing advances is a whole bunch of BS to try to induce players to come sign with them. But then, God forbid, something bad happens, then what? What goes on, right? So are you truly educating the players? Is it better to getting a marketing advance or an interest-free loan? Like, what are some of the things that can help a player understand? But when we're going in there, when you're giving an offensive lineman 50 grand marketing advance or 100 grand, what offensive lineman is going to make 100 grand in marketing? Right? So when we go through this stuff, man, I say it starts hopefully with us pouring into our youth and educating our youth in sports, and the families hopefully understanding that. And you guys have seen it, man, as we go through this process. Football, we all know, man, the demographics, when you look at it, unfortunately, that's where these agents attack. Right? And I'm an agent. So I'm not saying, but an unfortunate part, that's our business. Like, our industry is so messed up that way. But how do we really help protect and educate? Because the problem is sometimes the best agents don't get the best players. It's the agents who are going to have the most bread or drop the most bread are going to get the play. And but that part, I don't get me wrong. It's nothing to congratulations to those guys. But when shit hits a fan, make sure we're taking care of our kids. Make sure we're taking care of those dudes, because that's when they need the guidance. That's when they need the love. That's when they need that shoulder to lean on. And we got to make sure that happens, because even when you're giving a kid, I mean, bro, how many people do we know, man? Tax season just hit, right? And we're talking about people making 30 grand a year, but tax season hit. It may be 3-4 grand return. First thing they doing, they're not talking about, hey, let me put that away. They're like, hey, what can we buy? Are we buying a new car? Or we buying a new car? What are we doing, right? So imagine these kids, now they're coming out of college and they're going to go get paid minimum salary, $705,000. Forget the signing bonus. Never seen money like that. Now, do we train them to, I was just saying, man, live like a king for a short period of time or live like a prince forever? How do we help build that? Right? And and it's our job to help our kids, protect them from themselves sometimes, right? And protect them from the leeches out here, man, because they're all swimming around. Yeah, I mean, 1 minute, if it's not an agent, it's not a financial, it's a business manager. And I'll be laughing. I'm like, what is a business manager? A guy who's not qualified to be an agent and not qualified to be a financial advisor. So now all of a sudden, like, you're not a rapper. You don't need a business manager. You just need your core team. So it's hard, man. Like, I mean, you know, but the great thing is the thing you guys are doing for awareness. I mean, I love watching your guys' show. You know, my man over here, he sends me the episodes all the time, and I love it because what you guys are doing, you're helping create awareness. You're helping change the narrative. You're helping create a blueprint for other parents. And that's all we need. We just need to help each other build, because as we continue to build the next generation, man, what we want to do is help our youth create generational wealth. So we have families that instead of having car washes to pay for funerals, man, they have had it set up, man, where we have generational wealth being passed down, and families aren't going through that same cycle. We almost got to break the cycle, right? But it starts with all of us coming together and doing something productive.
Oh man, hey Zeke, you dropping jewels on here, man. We definitely appreciate everything you dropping. Coach Jackson, is the first time I see you. Man, you should have had me. I would have been turning up second round, man. Man, we
Oh man.
proud of you. Hey, we proud of you, brother. Second
Oh
round,
man.
that's big, homie.
Oh
Big.
no. I was appreciative wherever, man. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
no,
make no.
yeah. I'm just letting you know we proud of you, brother.
I
Second
don't know.
round,
We turned up for sure, man.
yeah, yeah. I'm just
Hey,
letting you know. We celebrated at this house for you, dog. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So we turned up for you, man. We proud. Second round still ain't no joke, man. I don't care who it is. I've been watching the NFL draft for a long time. The second round is a big deal. You know what I'm
hey,
saying? So
he a part of that 1%, man. So
yeah.
I'm blessed, man. So wherever he went, like I
Hey,
said,
That's it.
I'm gonna tell you the only beef I got before we get back to Zeke. The only beef we got is he 2 picks before the Broncos was gonna take his ass. I'm gonna leave that at that. But because they was talking about behind the scenes, but I'm gonna leave it at that. So, but Zeke, man, we definitely appreciate you for checking in. Hanging out. I know Coach G. When they probably you got some questions to get out of here with Coach G.
No, man, I just want to say it was a blessing.
Yeah, it was a blessing. You dropped jewels tonight, Zeke. You dropped jewels tonight.
I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's a pleasure, man. And anytime, please have me on again. I'll be more than happy to come on, man. Even let me just sit there and be a fly on the wall and ask you guys some questions one day.
Yeah, you did enough, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. So
all right, fellas.
It was definitely a blessing. Turf Talk, each and every episode, we get Coach Jackson in and off the plane. So we back, man. But definitely appreciate it. Tune in each and every week. Zeke, salute to you and the family. All your roster's health. Coach Jackson, you already know. Stay healthy out there. Stay double healthy out there. Stay double healthy out there, and
oh
keep.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm following up. Hey, I'm following more 49er stuff than I've ever did in my life now. So I know, what I'm saying, what's going on, brother. So the support is there. Coach G, you already know it's all love, but we appreciate everything, man. Turf Talk.
Right, man. Hey, I want to leave everybody with this, Zeke. I'm about to be doing my thing next year, so I'm gonna need your help. With help my one and only youth team. It's gonna be off the chains, but I want to leave these words with everybody. Every day is a gift. That's why we call it a present. Get out of stands and get into the game. Stop being a fan. Hey, and that goes for not just football. That goes for life. Stop sitting in the stands. Get up and make it happen. Control the narrative, man. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Fight on.
Sir.
Hey, y'all brothers be safe. Thank you.
All right, fellas.
Yep.
All right, my brother.